Hey, welcome back to another video. This is still the truths no one wants to talk about under part one. For this question, it is what is the biggest lie people tell themselves about why they failed? And this connects a lot to my previous video. If you didn't see it, I recommend you go take a look at that. The biggest lie people tell themselves as to why they failed tends to be any outside influence, meaning they might say, oh, it's the current economic whatever. Say we're in a recession, we're in a boom, whatever. They could that's a big one, right? Oh, the market fate weren't in my favor, people weren't buying it, it was out of my control. Or they'll say that, as I've said before, you'll hear something along the lines of, I tried everything and nothing works. Nobody wants to buy this, right? Nobody in my niche is buying this. That's really easy to debunk by just looking at sales data. Sure, the number might go down, like maybe there's less people buying as much, but unless you're in the industry that's brand new, chances are people are still buying. They're just not buying from you. It has nothing to do with the people, it has everything to do with what you're doing. So, the biggest lie people tell themselves about why they failed starts with it was because, and then anything after that. Unless they start with I didn't, they're lying. Because as a business owner, it's your responsibility to follow through on the marketing, to actually try to get out there. I've talked to businesses where, for example, I was talking to this coach and she had a lot of clients. And then her client numbers started to reduce. And I asked her, and I was talking to her, she was trying to do this funnel to like a master class, get people on her email list, get people to sign up. While she was getting people on the email list, they weren't signing up for the master class. And if they showed up, they weren't signing up. And I simply asked her, well, what were you doing before to bring in all these clients? And she was having one-to-one conversations with people. And I said, well, do that. And she said, well, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to do this because this is easier. And that's a lot of strain. And I said, I understand that. However, your current business will not be able to sustain itself if you keep pushing for this. Instead, go back to what was working. I know you don't like it, but go back to what was working while you figure this out. That way, your business doesn't collapse. You get clients in, you get money coming in. Granted, you're going to be grumpy about it because you're going to be doing it in a way that you don't like. It's going to sap your energy. I get that. But that'll allow your business to stay alive long enough for you to figure out the messaging and the way this sort of marketing works and how long before people convert so that you can switch. She didn't want to go back to doing it. She didn't want to go back to her old method. And what happened? Her business ended. She ran out of money. She had to close her doors. Now, she'll say her business failed because this marketing strategy didn't work with this market and she tried everything. No, you didn't. You didn't do what was working. So, a lot of times, business owners know what they need to do to generate clients. They don't want to do it. And this usually happens after a little while when a business gets semi successful and they enjoy the financial benefits of that, but they don't want to put in the work anymore. They feel like they've moved beyond that so they can move on to different strategies that should generate clients. And instead of doing that anymore, they're just sort of switching and they never actually tested and things are starting to fall apart. And then their ego gets in the way and they refuse to go back and do what was working before because they tell themselves they're too good for that. And it's almost like defeat stepping back. That's not defeat. Defeat is not going back to a strategy that worked before that's a little bit more tiring. Defeat is giving up, is saying, well, this strategy isn't working. I've run out of money. I guess I'll close my doors. No, that's defeat. Your ego is lying to you. So the biggest lie people tell themselves is anything that does not start with, I didn't. I didn't go back to that strategy that worked. That's why my business failed. I didn't email as often. I didn't try as many angles. I didn't try different offers. I didn't do any research. I didn't look to see what customers actually wanted. I didn't go and try and get feedback. I didn't see what other competitors were doing to drive customers. Doesn't start with I didn't. almost every single time, it's a lie. Anyway, hope you got something out of this video. I'll see you in the next one.